Flyers are led by Rod Brindamore, Kevin Dineen, and Mike Ricci, the youngster. The Leafs have newcomers Jamie McCowan, Glenn Anderson, and veteran Wendell Clark. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Joe Bowen, and welcome to another edition of Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics here on Leafs TV. We take you back to January 25th, 1992. By the 1st of January of this year, the Leafs are going nowhere fast. They're in trouble. General Manager Cliff Fletcher, in his first year at the helm of the team, has watched his team self-destruct, losing in Pittsburgh 11-1 to close out the 1991 calendar year and then get blasted by Quebec before pulling the trigger on a huge deal on January the 2nd, 1992. That trade sent Gary Leeman, Craig Berube, Michel Petit, Jeff Reese, and Alexander Godinyak to the Calgary Flames for Rick Wamsley, Kent Manderville, Rick Nattrass, Jamie McCowan, and some guy named Gilmore. The franchise has never looked back. The Rogues of the Rope Rotundas tonight are Ken Reggett, the former Leaf, in goal for the Philadelphia Flyers, and Grant Fuhrer in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Because it's January 25th, 1992, the Flyers are in town to play the Leafs, and you're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. The revamped Leafs have just one 20-goal scorer in Glenn Anderson, who will finish with 24 this season. Wendell Clark, limited to 43 games play, would score 19. Judged to be too small while starring for the Cornwall Royals, Doug Gilmore, the Kingston native, was taken by the St. Louis Blues in the 4th round of the 1982 entry draft. After 5 seasons in St. Louis, he was traded to Calgary, where he helped lead the Flames to their only Stanley Cup in 1989. A contract dispute precipitated the trade to Toronto, while Gilmore would become one of the league's premier players for 6 seasons while wearing a Leaf uniform. Dealt to New Jersey, he would have stops in Chicago, Buffalo, and Montreal before being reobtained by the Leafs at the trade deadline in 2003. And Dougie joins us to go back. Here's 1992. But Dougie, I remember that game in Pittsburgh, just the Leafs getting destroyed. Then the next, maybe 2 nights later, on the 1st of January, getting bombed in Quebec. And Gord Stellick, who was doing color with me on the radio, we sat with the schedule. And we were going through the schedule, and we couldn't find a game where we thought we might have a chance to win. Next night, Leafs make the big deal, Cliff makes the big deal. But there's a lot behind the scenes that go on to any deal, and you were part and parcel of it all.
Well, there was, obviously I had Cliff for 3.5 years in Calgary. He brought me there from St. Louis. It's just, there's funny little stories that always happen, Joe, and you always want to be that fly on the wall to kind of figure out what's going on. And it wasn't really a contract dispute. I heard Mr. Eisbell saying that he was going to trade me. And at that time, it was just a matter of time. So I waited for about 2 to 3 weeks, spoke with Larry Kelly, my agent, and we came up with a date where I was going to leave. And it happened to be against Montreal on New Year's Eve, and then 24 hours later, I was traded.
Now, when you arrive in Toronto, obviously knowing Cliff has got to be ease things, but coming back to Ontario and coming to a Leaf team, what went through your mind? Just
like now, goosebumps, ecstatic that I had a chance to come back home, play in front of my family and friends. So it meant everything to me, and obviously the rest is kind of history now. But my time here, I'll never forget. I make my home here. My kids are from here, and it's just it's a nice feeling.
5 for 5. That's a big trade, and coming along with you is not an Art Ross net, a bunch of broken sticks, and a washed-up cooler. People like Jamie McCowan and Rick Wamsley, Rick Nattrass play integral parts in this team in '92 to turn the corner.
They did, and we were pretty close to making the playoffs after the trade was done. Unfortunately, Rick went to Philly the next year, but Jamie McCowan was kind of like a cornerstone for that blue line, and watching him play in Calgary over the years, and then being part of this trade, again, the success we had in '93 and '94 just had a lot to do with him as well, and it's something that I look back at the trade, and the guys that are still playing right now would be Craig Berube and I.
That's right.
The only guys left. So, but it's something that with the guys that Cliff knew he already had in Calgary. He knew what he was bringing here, not necessarily when the trade on the other side, they didn't know exactly what they were getting. So that's the way it went, and I've been blessed to play this game this long, but again, my time in Toronto I'll never forget.
Dougie, I've often said that, the talent level in the National Hockey League between teams is not that a large rift. Atmosphere, attitude, and confidence are things that are intangibles that happen. And when you arrived here in January of 1992, the confidence level in that dressing room was at an all-time low. I mean, people just didn't want to touch the puck, sawdust is coming out of sticks, and everything else. You guys arrived from an organization that had been winning and had won the Stanley Cup in the not too distant past, and it changed. It was just like a metamorphosis had gone on, and all of a sudden, the guys who couldn't handle the puck are now doing it rather well. And it is a strange thing, isn't it?
It was, because it was in Detroit, my first game. Got there and I looked around the dressing room and it was just like a very dull atmosphere at the time. And as the time went on, I saw we played that night. We should have won. We actually ended up losing that game. Came home and played against Chicago the next night. Lost that game. So it wasn't the best start for the guys that were traded and coming here. But at the same time, it was just a lot more positive atmosphere of what was going to happen, what we could do. And by the end of the year, I believe we're like 4 or 5 games out of the playoffs. And it was a lot of fun, and we obviously brought in Pat Burns, and he was the coordinator, and he did everything else for us.
Now, a dressing room that has dour and not a lot of fun, and you throw McCowan into the mix, and you, good luck.
Well, I think Bearcat, Jim Murray, the trainer in Calgary, is probably the happiest to see me go. I'm an early bird. I like to get to the rink early, and day after day, you do something to him with, I know you heard the story of the wax donuts or the Vaseline and the jelly donuts, and he just thought, oh, you're great, you're bringing in donuts for us this morning, and then take one bite and you'd go, you.
And McCowan isn't far off the mark with that either.
No, Jamie, very laughable guy and very funny guy, and it's, I think that's the personality you need, though. You got to kind of, instead of going into every game, yes, you have to be prepared and I'm always nervous going into games, but you got to have a relaxed mode, and Jamie brought that.
All right, well, the Maple Leafs are ready to tangle with the Philadelphia Flyers. We're bringing Doug Gilmour along for the ride and taking him back to January of 1992. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
Once again, a sellout crowd at Maple Leaf Gardens on this Saturday night. And hello to you from coast to coast, wherever you are tonight. Dave Jackson is the referee tonight. This is his first game this season, 7th in the league. Ron Asseltine and Ron Finn are on the lines. Ken Reggett starts tonight for Philadelphia. Ron Hextall in the backup role. Reggett spent 6 seasons trying to win for the Leafs. Tonight, he'd like to beat them. That might not be easy for the struggling Flyers, especially if Grant Fuhr is on his game. Fuhr can be tough when he's off. Brind'Amour starts at center ice for Philadelphia. Jones and Peterson on the wings with Duchesne and Mark Howe, the defenseman. Natras and McCown starting on the Leaf blue line. Doug Gilmour comes to center ice. Anderson to the right, and Krushelnyski to the left side. Now Gilmour will come into your picture, and here he is. Play underway, and Howe will rip one high in on the glass. Very quickly, the Leafs back to pick it up. McCown being hustled a little bit. Dineen nearly got loose. Brind'Amour is back of the net trying to dig it out. Here is Peterson. He is loose. Out front it comes. Fuhr makes the first big stop of the hockey game as the Flyers were in forechecking early. Gilmour dropped it to the blue line in Philadelphia, breaking it up as Brind'Amour got it back across center. Krushelnyski and Anderson. Anderson missed that wicked pass. Brind'Amour stopped. Anderson missed a chance. Here's Dineen from the Leaf blue line. Stepped into the slot. Had it hooked away in time. However, Peterson grabs it to the right. Cuts in back of the net, then lost it again. Peterson knocked it back to the goal a second time. Anderson all the way back there for Toronto, looking for some skating room. Nearly gave it away in front of the net. Got it ahead to Krushelnyski. He has stopped. The Flyers are changing. The play goes on. Dineen stopped outside the line. Krushelnyski flattened. And the puck dribbles inside the Philadelphia blue line. Cartner. Right wing pass. Jones on the move. No room against Ellett along the boards. Ricci coming in there for Philadelphia, tied up back of the net. It is loose again. Flyers very aggressive with their forechecking in the first minute and a half of this hockey game. And here's Jones. He tried to set up Ricci in front of the net. Another tough pass to handle in front of Grant Fuhr. Cecil slowed up a bit. He was on a pretty good pace for Toronto. Murray slipped the pass in the slot. Here's a chance. Ricci moving in, dropped it back, but right onto the stick of the defenseman, Ellett. Falling was LaRose. He's number 11. Ellett shot off his skate and into the corner to the left of Ken Regan. Pretty good action, but only one shot on goal so far.
A lot of people thought this would be an uninteresting game, but if the next 57 minutes are as good as the first 3, we're in for an entertaining evening. Here's the lineup for the Philadelphia Flyers on defense tonight. Galley, a new addition coming over from Boston in the Gord Murphy trade. The Flyers have some serious injuries, so we have some newcomers. Conroy playing his first game, and Pat Murray being brought up from Hershey in the American League. There are the players not playing. And when you haven't got Tocchet, Eklund, and Lomakin, your goal-scoring strength almost disappears.
One or two new names for you. Mark Freer at center for Philadelphia. Claude Boivin on the left wing. Dave Brown right side. Galley is number 3 on the defense. With Huffman, who tried to get it out, he's wearing number 5. McCown getting together with Netras. He ripped a high one in. Bullard is up front with Bradley and Deblois for Toronto. And they're nearing the 3-minute mark of this first period. There's no score.
Well, Bradley took an awful shot there at the end of that shift. Seems to be all right for the Leafs. Shannon is not playing, as this defense 6 has played almost all the games since the All-Star break. On the forward line, here's the way they're starting their 4 lines. Tom Watt has been cheating heavily toward 2 lines, Cecil and Gilmore. Clark has this game to go in his suspension, and the other players, as you can see, are out for longer.
Here's McCown turning away from a check. Bullard, no room to move at center ice, and Mark Freer comes back in. Freer can't get a shot on the net. Hit Natras. Brown got it loose. Brown again for Philadelphia. Laid it back of the goal. Bradley shoved it ahead. Deblois stopped near center ice. That's Huffman. Got it up as far as the line. Freer takes it to the Leaf blue line, and it's broken up. Back for Toronto. Natras offside at the Philadelphia blue line. From the face-off, it goes ahead on the far side. Flyers no shot this time. And back to center. Puck cleared in. Semenas out on that left wing, and Loisel is 15, going for the net. Back to the line. Rouse's shot is high and off the mark. Quinn pass to Howe. Mark Howe faked the shot, and Bob Rouse took it away from him. Quinn again near center, lost it. Duchesne shot at the center ice. Conroy tried to move it in, got it in back of the net. Leafs do not clear it. First try. Loisel stopped on the second attempt. Flyers again active in the forechecking department. And the Leafs just had to shoot it away. It goes all the way down the ice. Icing to be called with Mark Howe back.
Well, Mark Howe playing his 14th game of the season. He had back surgery last spring, recovered from that, then broke his thumb. He told me this morning at the skate that he felt fine. His back has never felt better, but his hand was still pretty sore. He's got 8 points in the 7 games he's played. And he has been classed as the Flyers' best defenseman in any of the games that he has played, and he's a +7 to lead their team in that department. You want to know one of the reasons why the Flyers have stumbled this year and last? It's the absence of number 2 on their defense.
Brenda Moore again at center for Philadelphia. Peterson, Dineen, the winger. Samuelson, the big defenseman, steps up there on the rim of the circle to the right of the faceoff, and he's tying up Ellett as they won the draw. Anderson backhands it off the boards to center. Krushelnyski and Gilmour, the other two forwards for Toronto. Brind'Amour up over the line he goes. Stopped by Ellett again. Brind'Amour gets another crack at it. Going in with a pass to Dean. Stopped by Fjord. Going high on the short side. But Fjord was standing there and had the angle. Here's Gilmour. Bit of speed up now for Doug Gilmour. Dropped it in on the boards to Anderson. Can't center it. Back of the net. Gilmour out front. Scores! Doug Gilmour scores again for the Maple Leafs. 1-0.
Well, the Flyers get confused in their own zone on the defensive zone coverage. And Doug Gilmour, who's a slippery little devil, walks out from behind the net. Now you can see 3 Flyers, 3 Leafs. There should be no trouble. But here's where the trouble starts. Samuelsson gets fouled up with Kevin Dineen, and nobody takes Gilmour. Samuelsson and Dineen have to switch. They don't. And it's 1-0 Leafs.
Number 10, Glenn Anderson. Time 5:10. Doug Gilmour from Glenn Anderson. Time 5:10.
5:10 the time of the goal. Anderson getting the assist. And Doug Gilmour something else again on that great burst of speed. Created the rush, really. And then he digs it out from behind the net and around the goal to score on Reget. And the first shot on goal for Ken Reget tonight.
He didn't have much chance on that one, Bob. When that guy walks out from behind the net and can get out in front of the goal as far out as the crease, then the goalie's in deep trouble.
Anderson was flat and trying to go in. Brind'Amour would like to get that goal back for Philadelphia, but a hand pass. Stop
Here from Calgary, and he'll give you a little demonstration. He throws Samuelsson aside. Some nice interference by Krushelnyski, and then Gilmour beats Dineen out to the front of the net to score.
And the great picture there showed you Gilmour coming around the net with a head up, sizing up the situation out front before doing it himself. He's a great hockey player.
162 pounds, Bob, and the two things other than his obvious offensive talents that I really admire. One, his durability. He can play 30 minutes. He can play long shifts. He can play rough games. He can do it all in that department. And secondly is he's excellent on the faceoffs. And the Leafs, with Zezel and Gilmour taking 2/3 or more of their draws, they're going to start with a puck a lot more often than before this guy arrived.
And when you're facing a power play, you'd like to have him rested a bit to go out and kill a penalty. He's not bad in that department. So I guess that says it all. He's got the goal, the only one of this first period. We're just past 6 minutes of play, mind you, in period 1 here in Toronto. The Leafs lead it on that goal, 1-0. Now Ricci dropped it back neatly. A good play for Howe. His weak shot, however, is stopped easily in front of the net. Howe does get back in time to tie up Marois. Pass goes ahead to Ricci. Fans thought maybe onside. Ricci trying to get loose in front of the net. And the play stopped. Hand pass again stops the play. And from the face-off, Dave Ellett spotted LaRose through the middle. The Leafs got a break here now. Zezel shot. Wicked shot, but just missed. Reget might have got a piece of it. Real hard drive. Philadelphia back the other way. Ricci's backhand pass doesn't get by Halkitis. Ricci ran into Halkitis, knocked him down. Tie up with the puck on the boards. Comes loose, and then Ellett made sure they'd stop the play by hanging on to it.
Well, the Flyers, who look like they're going to miss the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive year, after 17 straight years of making the playoffs, have these problems to contend with. They're still too slow, especially among their forwards. They don't have much creativity offensively, especially with Lemakin and Eklund out. They're not dangerous on the rush. Most of their chances come off the forecheck, and they don't scare anyone anymore. The 3rd least penalized team in the National Hockey League. Things aren't the same on Broad Street, Philadelphia.
Mark Freer, number 37. Can't move on it. Leafs just push it up on the boards and get it out. That worked for Bradley. He skates in over the line, dropped it for Bullard. Bullard lost it in front of the Philadelphia net, and the play is stopped in behind the play. I think a slash in behind the play as the Flyers were starting to skate away. And they're going to get a penalty. It's Claude Boivin going off.
Boivin, a rookie who was 14th pick overall in the '88 draft from Drummondville. He played last year in Hershey. This year he's played 24 games here in the Big Show. Last year 45 points in 65 games.
Time 7:26. Claude Boivin for slashing. Time 7:26.
Boivin, number 40, will take a little swing at Bradley right here. And for it, he gets 2 minutes. The Leafs on the power play, they're 19th against the 9th best penalty killing crew, Bill Dineen's Flyers.
Well, let's see what happens now. The Toronto Maple Leafs are leading 1-0 on Gilmore's 14th goal of the season at 5:10 of this opening period. Now the extra man. This one tipped by Samuelson. Nearly caught the corner. Cecil on the boards with it. McCown at the blue line. Other side, Ellen had to turn away from Brind'Amour. He's got rid of it. Partner couldn't find the opening. Flyers get it out anyway. Ellen turns back against Brind'Amour. Shot it in as he crossed center ice. Reggett taking a look around, put it high on the glass, and it gets by everybody down the ice.
The Philadelphia Flyers, Bob, lead the NHL in shorthanded goals for. They have 11 of them, and Brind'Amour's tied for that lead with 4.
Cecil takes it on the boards. Can't make a play. We'll try it again. Tied up again. They don't get it out. Ellett gets a shot off a stick. Ricci getting in the way. Partner to Ricci. Ellett on him. Allowing Bradley to take the puck. Closing in. Fake the shot. Here's Bullard. Centered. Score! Great play. And Cecil gets the power play goal. 2-0 Toronto.
Cecil gets his first goal in 10 games. He made no mistake about it. A terrific fake shot by Mike Bullard. Now Bullard makes the play after he gets the puck right here. Watch this fake shot. That freezes everybody. And then he throws it across in front to an open net.
Assist number 22, Mike Bullard. And
There's another
number
look at the fake.
44, Brian Bradley. Time 8:35. Peter Zezel from Mike Bullard and Brian Bradley. Time 8:35.
8:35, the time of the goal. Cecil, his 11th from Bullard and Bradley, and a Leaf power play goal makes it 2-0. So the Flyers hit a hole early as they near the 9-minute mark of the first period. Duchesne in back of the net to start the Flyers out. Alcides. And now it's shot down the ice by Bob Rouse. That's icing called against the Maple Leafs. 10:58 remaining in the first period.
Flyer defense physically, I mean, they will give the puck up a forecheck. The Leafs need as much speed as they can generate through the neutral zone, and the Leaf wingers have to hold up the Flyer forecheckers to give their defensemen a little time when they get back in their own end with the puck, because Philadelphia can still forecheck among the better teams in the league.
Not many drives for the goaltenders so far. The shots, just 2 apiece. And the Leafs 2 shots, yes, they're up on the board. 2-0 Toronto. Gilmour and Cecil. Another block shot. Loisel. Cemento catching up. Scores! Loisel makes it 3-0 Maple Leafs.
I think you'll see the call for Ron Hextall. Bill Dineen walking down and talking to him right now on the Flyer bench. That's Claude Loisel's first point in 28 games. He blocks Mark Howe's shot, recovers the puck, outraces Howe, and then wires one right through Reggett. Reggett started to go down, and you can see the puck found the hole and went in. Here's what Reggett saw. And here comes Hextall. And Claude Loisel celebrating the huge piano that just fell off his back. And as I mentioned, as soon as the goal went in, Bill Dineen went down the Flyer bench and got a hold of Hextall and said, "Get your equipment ready, buddy. You're heading in."
You
3
would
goals,
too.
3 shots.
That's right. With 3 shots and 3 goals, it's obvious a change is to be made. Regato, in his defense on that goal, he was looking at Sabetta bursting right in front of him, and Loisel fooled him with a tough shot.
But Bob, the goalie has to play the shooter and let the defenseman worry about the pass. If you don't, they're going to score a lot easier than they did. Here comes Hextall. Hextall's record against Toronto in his lifetime is 5-3-1. And last year, with 13 wins and 16 losses, was the first time in 5 years he had a losing record as the goalie in the National Hockey League. He's had 5 groin injuries in the last 2 years. That's got to be a record.
Well, Hextall, who's a temperamental type goalie, comes in here without the advantage of a warm-up. So the Leafs will like to get to him early if they could. They're up 3-0. Loisel's goal at 9:11 to make it 3-0. Number 5 of the season for Loisel. Sabetta lost a chance to move it out. He'll get another one, and he brings it to the line and hands it off. DeBlois gets up near the Philadelphia line, and here's Mark Howe. Put it on open ice. Leafs shoot it back in, and they'll make changes. Halkitis is going off. Flyers moving up. Trying to go in was Pat Murray. Jones takes it around the net. Can't center it. Murray goes over to help, but it's Gilmour again. Right wing. Anderson to Gilmour, spinning back. Gilmour's pass, a neat one, and the shot, the rebound, cleared away. Natras was set up by Gilmour, but didn't get a great shot away. Krushelnyski is stopped. Ricci comes back, being watched by Gilmour. The other side is Huffman. Suicide pass, almost. Natras saw it. Hextall missed it behind the net. Anderson took his man in on the boards. And the Flyers just sit back now and dump it out. 9:15 left in the opening period. The Leafs are leading 3-0. Talk about firsts. That's got to be a first.
Well, they did this Thursday night against the Islanders. Lost the 3-goal lead, and then Anderson scored the winner late in the game.
Anderson nearly got in on Kartner. Krushelnyski fired one from a sharp angle. Hextall is going to shoot it out. Gets it to center. Rouse stopped it. Flyers move up on it. Freer trying to go in. Rubbed in the corner. Boivin. And he finds little room to move. Freer back to the goal. Can't dump it out front. Krushelnyski takes it for Toronto. Slapped it away down the ice. And they're going to call this one icing. Samuelson, Embles back for it. And the Leafs.
This is a live shot of Brett Hull in St. Louis. Hockey Night Canada wants you to see Hull get his 50th goal in this his 49th game. If he does, you will see him become the second player in history to score 50 in 50 games or less twice. Wayne Gretzky's the other.
And the big year, of course, was 50 goals in 39 games. And against this Philadelphia team, he got 5 goals to reach number 50.
Can you imagine when Gretzky came into the league, Bob, they said he won't score enough.
Here's a shot that's just wide of the net. LaRose moving down that left wing for Toronto. Dropped it neatly to Zessel. Back for LaRose. Shane got a piece of the puck and then went after it. Flyers do not get it out. Hextall trying to cover up. They obviously got it across the line by a hair, and that was offside at the Philadelphia line.
18 assists for 35 points. He's tricky, he's got some speed, and he's a pretty good puck handler. They are 3 of his assets. His biggest drawback, Bob, his size.
From center, Cowan shot it in. Leafs are on it to the right of the net. The centering pass is intercepted. Play called again. In behind the play, Mark Howe. And Hextall maybe might have been the goaltender. Only 2 Flyers back there. And a Leaf player is starting to move toward the penalty box, but I'm sure it's Philadelphia. Yes, the Flyers penalty. We'll pick it up for you. Don't worry.
Well, one of the tough guys for the Flyers is Hextall. He doesn't like anybody in that light blue area. And you can see Howe and LaRose, and then Hextall gets in it and cuffs LaRose. So the penalty's going to go to Hextall, and the Flyers will be killing another penalty. One piece of strategy the Leafs have to change with this guy in goal. They have to be careful on the shoot-ins. Keep it away from this guy. He's the best puck-handling defenseman on either team.
Ron Hextall for roughing. Time 12-12. Penalty will be served by number 41, Mark Peterson.
Mark Peterson will serve the minor penalty called against this man, Ron Hextall. 12-12 is the time of the Philadelphia penalty, and the Leafs are 1 for 1 on the power play tonight. Zezel had a power play goal for Toronto to make it 2-0 at 8:35. They're up 3-0 now in this first period. They're in again. First shot is deflected wide of the goal. Zezel is on it very quickly. Lifted one back toward the line. That's intercepted by Rod Brind'Amour, and he's at center. Killing a few seconds. Backs up a bit and put a weak shot in on the net. Elliott has Bradley moving to the right. Comes to the left side for the defenseman McCowan. Hextall out. Looks for the opening. Gave it away. Elliott couldn't get a shot though. Bullard back to the net. Leafs are on it. Zezel and Bradley. Back to the line. McCowan up for Bradley. Bradley gets set into the corner. Here's Bradley getting set once more. He centered it. Elliott trying to get loose. Scramble. Zezel missed a chance. Elliott from the blue line. Again, Zezel will give it to him. Elliott shot. That's blocked by Hextall. Elliott can't keep it in. And it's down the ice once again. 43 seconds left on the power play for Toronto. And working pretty good against Philadelphia at this stage. Their second power play of the night. Here's a lead pass that's right on the money. Marois' pass crossed in front of the net. Anderson left it in the corner. Back to the line is Elliott on the boards with it. Intercepted, and it's cleared out over the line. No, kept in. Anderson going after it. Tied up in the corner. Dineen got a stick on it. Clear it down the ice. 10 seconds left in the penalty. 5:50 remaining the first period. 3-0 Toronto. Now Peterson serving that penalty against Hextall is out of the box. Anderson is going in. Anderson around the net to center and hit the side of the goal with that pass. Hextall reaching back there, but it's Gilmour getting it. Gilmour rolling in front. Shot close in by Marois. And kicked away by Hextall. He's out of the net again. Against Marois. Tied up the Leaf player. And the Flyers get it out. Gilmour will come right back at him. Gilmour's pass. Anderson winds up. Lifted stick. Gets loose. Now around the net. Can't center it though. Leafs all afire now. They're up 3 goals in Philadelphia. And a penalty coming up against Philadelphia. Or against Leafs rather. Hextall out of the net. Going to the bench for an extra man. Horacek shot missing. Kept in at the line. There's the long shot, and that one deflected wide. Philadelphia trying to get a goal, but the Leafs pick it up, and that stops the play. And there is a penalty, in fact, called against Toronto. And Hextall had a bit to do with that, I think.
52, 3-0 Leafs in the first period. Philadelphia will get their first power play. Here it is right here. Semeta takes a cross-check from behind from Kartner, and then Semeta comes back with his stick right there. For that, he gets 2 minutes.
Well, Semeta gets the high-sticking penalty. I knew one thing. It happened near the Philadelphia net with the play already gone up to center ice. And Hextall has been in a bit of a problem since he's come in. The Leafs have been storming him, especially on that power play opportunity.
Philadelphia 21st out of 22 teams in the power play. Only 30 goals in 238 power play situations.
Well, they have an opportunity now to get something going. They're down 3-0. They're offside on this first rush. The 4 of them were across the blue line, and everybody stopped, waiting for Quinn to move in.
Well, one of the bright lights for the Philadelphia Flyers, Mike Ricci, 14 points in his last 18 games. Last year played on a line with Eklund and Tocchet. So his production is down a little this year because Eklund and Tocchet, who are both injured at the moment, are both way down in their production. But they have high hopes for this young man. Peterborough Canadian Major Junior Player of the Year. There's Bill Dineen talking to Craig Hartsburg. Remember Craig, the stalwart defenseman for the Minnesota North Stars for a dozen years.
Hextall stopping a long one. Netras uncorked it from inside his own blue line. Bounced in front of Hextall. On the move, Hoffman. It is shot in on the right side for Ricci. Quinn trying to get a pass, couldn't. Hoffman again. And Quinn. Here's Quinn. Can't control it. Leafs get it out. It went off the stick of Howe. 1 minute left in the penalty. Semeta in the penalty box for Toronto. Fired on the glass and out. 2 Leafs on it. And they have a 2-on-1 setup. Debelois. Stopped by Hextall. And the angle covered beautifully. Back out for Howe and Dineen. Dineen, the hard-working winger, trying to burst in, and Fjord knew it. And he decided to smother it with 2 Flyers, getting very close. Fired up Leafs team tonight, though. Give them credit. Started in a big rush. Now the Flyers trying to get one back. Shot knocked down. Fjord, who made the first save of the hockey game, and it was a good one when the Flyers were in very quickly and close. And he made a big stop on the short side. And then the Leafs took over.
Now that was only the 4th shot the Flyers had got. It was a tip as there was traffic in front. Now Kevin Dineen, who's as feisty as they come, he loves the traffic, he loves the action. He's been a great asset for the Flyers since coming over from Hartford in the Murray Craven trade. He has 7 goals and 4 assists in his last 10 games. And in his career against the Leafs in 18 games, he's got 21 points. So Kevin, playing for his father, has been a strong addition just about the time that Bill Dineen took over as coach from Paul Holmgren.
To the right of Fjord. They'll drop it in. Zessel wins this one, tied up his man, and the Leafs get the puck out. Hextall out of the net, and he leaves it to Galley. 18 seconds left in the Leaf penalty. Flyers move it out. Gary Galley, center. In on the glass it goes, and the Leafs are going to be on it first. And Gilmore out killing this penalty with Krushelnyski. Cleared it. Gilmore again, but he missed it this time. Semeta's penalty is over. Here's Dineen. Can't find it. Duchesne passed into Brind'Amour. Stopped by Netras. Semeta ahead for Gilmore. He's away again for Toronto. Gilmore looking for some room. Finds it back near his own line before playing it up to Anderson. Anderson's pass. Through center. Rouse backhands it in. 2:20 left in the first period. Leafs 3. Flyers no score. Here's center. It's shot back in. Hextall will play this. And Samuelson takes it behind the net. Galley is the other defenseman for Philadelphia. Brown, 21. Doesn't get the pass. Kept the linesman Asseltine. Zessel falls. Flyers move up. Brown dropped it back. Boyvan, rather. To Brown. And then Krushelnyski. Back for Anderson, and Gill, the defenseman, moving up. Anderson showing a nice burst of speed. Penalty coming up against Anderson, I think, as the Flyers are moving up, and Hextall is out of the net. Partner all the way in with it. And finally, a Leaf player touches it. It is, in fact, Glenn Anderson of the Maple Leafs, and it's a slashing penalty against Anderson.
Well, Glenn Anderson, who has a reputation of being a little careless with his stick, will give you a demonstration of what I'm talking about here in a second. Right there. One of those whoops. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit you over the head.
Dave Jackson in his first game, as we mentioned, this season. He was in 6 games prior to tonight. Spent a lot of time in the American Hockey League this season. On the boards, Leafs take it out, get it loose, and it is to the line and out, and Howe will pick it up. 1:10 left in the period. Pass goes in for Brind'Amour, too far. He's upended. Fior out of the net, put it high in the corner.
Last minute of play.
We're into the final minute now as Howe comes in. Duchesne shot missing. Rebound was there for Dineen. Here's Brind'Amour to Howe. Fior the save. Score! Dineen will get that goal. Fior had stuck 2 and couldn't find it on the second shot. Dineen did.
Well, Mark Howe was allowed to walk into the top of the circle and really blasted one at Fior. He made the save. He starts the play behind the net. Here comes the shot I was talking about from Howe. Now watch, Dineen will hit it out of the air here. Right there, out of the air, between the legs of Grant Fior, to give Philadelphia a goal with 47 seconds left in the first. There's Dineen, who loves to go to the front of the net and was smart there. He didn't stand in front of the net. He came from behind.
Number 17, Rod Brind'Amour, and number 2, Mark Howe. Time 19:12.
So they make it 48 seconds left, as it's 47.3. They call it that way. 19:12, the time of the goal. That's a big goal for Philadelphia, Harry.
I wonder if they're going upstairs to the video goal judge to see if Dineen was in the crease. Now, if the puck's in there, you can go in. But I think Dineen came out from behind the net. There's Dave Newell, one of the supervisors, who will make this decision, former referee in the National Hockey League. He's talking to referee Jackson. Now watch Dineen 20. Does he go into the crease? If he does, and the puck isn't in the crease or in the area above the crease, then he can get a penalty. This is a bit of a tough call because he went through the crease, then he came out. But it looks to me like the goal is going to count.
He stands.
But they did go to the video goal judge for his interpretation of that play.
Al Dahl is the video goal judge. He had a look at it, and you did too at home, and no question, Philadelphia is on the board. It's 3-1 Toronto on that goal by Dineen. 19:12, the official time of that goal. So Brind'Amour and Howe will get assists on the power play goal by Dineen, number 16 on the season for him. 3-1, 35 seconds left. Ricci shooting it in and going after it now in the corner. Trying to center it. Wouldn't it be great for Philadelphia to get another one right here before the period is out? But it's all the way back now in the Philadelphia zone. 20 seconds left. Hooked on the boards to center. And the Leafs will be careful now with 14 seconds remaining in this period. They get it to the line. It's brought back in, though. Now Krushelnyski cleared it away. Gilmore, quick look at the clock. Anderson, 2 seconds. Allen's shot is blocked on the horn to end period number 1.
Have scored the goals for the Maple Leafs. Kevin Dineen has scored for Philadelphia. It is a 3-1 lead as the Maple Leafs have it at the end of the first period. You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. Doug, you said that because you had adjoining rooms with, unfortunately, Doug Riseborough talking and you being able to hear that something was in the works, so the envelope got pushed.
Well, it did happen that way. Obviously, I went to arbitration. There's a lot of things said in arbitration that you're not real happy with. Arbitration was different then. They picked the arbitrator up at the airport. They sat with the arbitrator, took him for dinner, sat with him in the box. So, and then I got awarded a certain amount, and Doug wasn't too happy about that, Risebrough. And again, it just happened to be a coincidence that I happened to be next door to him. It was just a fluke, and I remember getting up in the morning, 7 o'clock, and I heard my name. So I kind of laid down by the door, and my roommate woke up, Tim Sweeney, and he was looking at me, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Come here, they're talking about you too." So we were both kind of laughing. We sat there for about a half hour, listened to maybe a deal that was going to happen, and my name was involved. So
Now, when you come to Toronto, is it a situation where Cliff calls you aside and says, "Hey, you're the guy that we've been looking for. It's your team. Run with it"?
Well, when the trade was made, obviously, very excited to be back home and have a chance to play with the blue and white. Cliff didn't say too much. Cliff, he would always look at me if he was not happy with the situation. He'd just say, kind of nod his head and say, "Yep, I know I got to be better." And he gave me that opportunity. He gave me the ice time, the coaching staff as well, and my teammates. Everybody had a big part of this, and it was a lot of fun.
Now, you come here, and Tom Watt's coaching. He had been an assistant coach in Calgary, so you know him. You know what he's a traditionalist, and you go and throw a fork into all of that.
Well, I remember getting to flying in to play against Detroit, and Rick Wamsley and I were the only two guys that made the trip in, and he goes, "Okay," Brian Papineau comes in, "What number do you want?" And it's like, number 93. And previous to this, I'll finish the story in a second. Previous to this, in training camp that year, Toronto's playing against Calgary, and Godinuk had number 93, and I stopped Pappy while I was skating by. I said, "Get rid of that guy because I want that number." When next thing you know, it happens that way. But Tom Watt told Brian Papineau, the trainer, that that's it. No more high numbers. I want everybody to go with the lower numbers, more traditional, as you said. And I told Brian Papineau, I said, "I want number 93. So he went in and he goes, "Okay." But Tom was great. He let me have number 93.
And why was it 93? You were 39 in Calgary.
I was 39 in Calgary. I always wore number 9. First year in the league, I was number 18 in St. Louis, but 9 was my junior number. Got traded to Calgary, and some guy named Lanny had number 9.
Yeah,
so.
And what did he ever do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
19 was gone, 29 was gone, so I went to 39. And after that, played in a slow pitch league in the summertime, and a guy on the team had number 39, so I just switched it around. And as I got traded, I said I wanted a new number, and I took 93.
Well, it's interesting how these things happen. A lot of guys have favorite numbers from growing up, but that number has become as big as 27 ever was in Toronto Maple Leaf history, that's for sure.
Well, you look at a guy like Darryl that played, and I had the opportunity to watch Darryl play junior because my brother and him played on the same team in London. So always a big fan, great person, and very well liked and respected.
So the Leafs have a 3-1 lead after a period against the Flyers. We're taking Doug Gilmour back to January 25th, 1992. You're watching.
Drops the puck. I want to say a happy birthday to Jesse Armstrong of Hensel, Ontario, just a little north of London. 99 years old today. Happy birthday, Jesse Armstrong. She hasn't missed one of your replays, Harry. Philadelphia trailing by 2 goals go on the attack as we start the second period, and Fuhr again makes the first stop. At 8:35 and Loisel at 9:11, the scoring play in the first period. Dineen scored the Philadelphia goal on a power play at 19:12. 3-1 is the score. Philadelphia on the attack again. Brind'Amour trying to get loose in front of the net. Gilmour took the puck away from him, and Anderson is moving up. Anderson nearly got in. The Flyers dump it back out thanks to Mark Howe. Gilmour lost it near center ice, then was hit as he tried to go back after it. Puck over the boards at the Philadelphia bench, and the play has been called. Milling about in between the two benches.
Well, Bill Dineen, the 59-year-old NHL rookie coach. His team's 6-8-7 since taking the job over. He's anything but a rookie in coaching in professional hockey. 2 Calder Cups in the American Hockey League, 2 Avco Cups with Houston, the WHA, and played on 2 Stanley Cup Detroit Red Wing teams. So he knows what it's like to be on the bench and get the job done, and be behind the bench and get the job done. St. Mike's grad, what a skater he was, Bob, in junior hockey, then again in his career with the Red Wings.
Philadelphia penalty to number 17, Rod Brind'Amour. 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. Toronto penalty to number 93, Doug Gilmour. 2 minutes for cross-check. Time 53 seconds.
53 seconds, offsetting minor penalties. Philadelphia coming up there in the shot through a crowd, and somehow Grant Fuhr saw that coming, and then he saw the Flyers milling about, so he held it, and here is what develops.
Al Conroy, who was recalled today because of the injury situation, Philadelphia is 5'8", 170. Last year with Adirondack, 65 points in 80 games, 172 minutes in penalties. He was signed as a free agent by the Flyers this past summer. With the Hershey Bears in the American League, 41 points in 45 games. This is his first NHL game. Here he goes to the net. And
Roughing. Time 1:08.
1:08 the time of these penalties. 4 of them in there now. Conroy, Brind'Amour, Gilmour, and Rouse. Gilmour was cross-checking Brind'Amour on sportsmanlike conduct. And these latest 2 roughing minors. Puck in the center ice area for Samuelsson. Right onto the stick of Ellett, starting the Leafs away again. Zessel shoots it from center ice. Hextall onto the net. Went off balance for a moment. Regained his balance and got rid of it. And the Flyers are away, led by Ricci. Trying to pick a hole. He was hit at the blue line by Holkidis. Kevin Law got back to help out. There's Quinn. And Ellett took it away from him. Quinn again with a stick on the puck. Holkidis trying to freeze it there. Ricci waiting for it to pop loose. Quinn goes the other way. Takes a look out front with a pass in the crease. And it's lifted on the glass to the right of Grant Fuhr. Ricci again. Quinn scores! High, beautiful shot by Quinn. He wasted no time at all. And the Flyers are within 1.
Well, some good give-and-go passing action by the Flyers in the Leafs zone. And you can see the Leafs defensive zone coverage broke down as Quinn was allowed to walk off the boards by Halkidis, and he put it up top.
Number 18, Mike Ricci. Time 2 minutes even. Dan Quinn from Mike Ricci. Time 2 minutes even.
2 minutes, the time of the goal. That's 7 on the season for Quinn. And the Philadelphia Flyers have come back from a 3-0 deficit. It's now 3-2 Toronto. Flyers dump it in. Fuhr ripped it up on the boards. It comes out and all the way down the ice. Scrap started behind the play. Boivin and McClellan, I think his first shift of the night. Didn't take long for Kevin to get something going. Showing the left hands at Boivin. He's trying to get loose again. Another left. Another left.
McClellan, this is his 6th game since being recalled from St. John's.
They're going to break it up now, I think. And the fans get a taste of Kevin McClellan for the first time tonight.
You can see that McClellan was on the wrong end of one punch, but if you look at his hand, you can see he was on the right end of one. And we're going to have a look and see how this started. Boivin, McClellan. And Boivin gets 2 minutes extra for the start. There's number 40 going into the Leafs McClellan. and gives him the stick, the gloves, the elbow, and everything. And then the scrap developed from there. So in the opinion of referee Jackson, Boivin started it or got the extra 2 for that charge we saw. So the Leafs get a chance to go on the power play again.
The Leafs on a power play, which is 1 for 2 in the evening. McClellan, the major. Boivin had a major, of course, and the 2 minutes, as Harry mentioned, for being the instigator. 3-2 Toronto. Leafs with Zessel, Bullard, Bradley, McCown, and Ellett. Howe and Duchesne, the defenseman for Philadelphia. Freer and Dineen up front. Hextall stopping this. Howe around the net into the corner. Dineen does not move it out. Howe will. Lead pass nearly caught Freer on the fly. Howe moving up. And Ellett will slow the pace as he sees Freer coming in. Organizing for the Leafs now to Bradley. Up with Bullard. Zessel with him. Pass the other side. McCown shot. Trickled off the stick and just missed. A lead to Freer. He's over the line and waits for a chance to shoot it. Put a weak shot in on Grant Fuhr. 3 Leafs are turning on this one. And it's Bradley who'll carry it in. Got it into the corner for Bullard. Samuelson took him in on the boards heavily. Back to the line. McCown the other way. Bullard waiting for it. Rolled it to Zessel. Zessel along the boards near the line. Gave it away. And Ricci, who intercepted, cleared it the length of the ice. 45 seconds now left in the penalty. Here's Ricci looking for a shorthanded goal. Around the net. Can't get away from Ellett. Jones is in there. Jones took a swing at it. Back to the goal a second time for Anderson. Ricci stole it. Can't center it though. 25 seconds on the Leaf power play as Anderson is skating well. In goes the pass in front of the net. Anderson to the corner. Can't make a move on it. Once again Anderson. Goes the other side. McCown can't stop it. And only 10 seconds left in the penalty. Quinn, who is serving the minor penalty called against Boivin, is now stepping on the ice. So the Flyers are at full strength again. Nearing the 5-minute mark of the second period, it is 3-2 Toronto. Leafs were leading 3-0 in the first period. Late goal by the Flyers in the first, and another one here at the start of the second period. Quinn at the 2-minute mark. Freer through the center. Dineen dropped it back to Quinn. On the backhand this time. Fuhr stopped it. Puck was high when he made contact with his stick.
Checking penalty as he knocked Bullard into the crease.
Hextall poised. Looking down as Brind'Amour will try to win it. Now he won't get a chance. He's tossed out. And Zessel is out also. Deblois comes in for Toronto. Pat Murray for Philadelphia. He's 24. Finally dropped in. Alkidis back to the net. Starting the Leafs away. Deblois took the pass. Put it up to the line, and Zessel carries on. Stopping in the corner, getting away from Galley's hit. Brind'Amour got back to help out. Poked it loose to the right side. Pass to Peterson, he dropped it back. Here's Huffman stepping up with a pass to the right side. It is centered. Brind'Amour can't get a shot. Fuhr stacking the pads, going down. Leafs back out. Flyers coming on in the second period. They've come within 1 goal of the Maple Leafs. It's 3-2 now. 5.5 minutes gone in the second. Deblois bumped as he tried to go in. McCown slapped it up back of the goal. There's LaRose. He fell, but moved the puck in. Gilmour hit hard. Back to the net. Galley sailed into him. A hard hit on Gilmore. Hoffman moving up. Passed it over in front of the goal, and the Leafs are turning with a net pass, a bad one. Ricci dropped it back. Fuhr, great save. And the Leafs scramble and get the puck out over the line. Play call.
Side, but he let it go. Rarely will they call the guy that pushes the opposition player over the blue line first for interference. It's a smart defensive play, and it didn't quite work that time, but it often does. By Peterson, the former Montreal Canadian.
Leafs won the draw on the count and had no place to go, so he shot it to center. Fjord loves a high one. Shots now 15-8 in favor of Philadelphia. They've come on a bit here in the second period. Have been rewarded by one goal, that by Quinn at the 2-minute mark to make it 3-2. We've stormed out in the opening period and got 3 straight goals. But it's a close game again. This time it'll be icing against Philadelphia, and they'll bring it all the way back.
First period has a 2-0-1 record going into tonight's game against his former teammates, but is a losing goalie as it stands right now.
Rick Wamsley wants to say hello to Mom and Dad, Bob and Mary in Port Dover, and especially Bob. Hope he feels a little better tonight. Rick Wamsley in the backup role for Grant Fuhr. Won a game last week for the Maple Leafs. Great backup goalie to have.
Yeah, he is. He's alive on the bench. He encourages the #1 goalie, and he talks to the players when they come off, alerting them to some things he noticed. And those are good qualities for a backup man.
Merrill, a little anxious, keeps skating before the puck is dropped. And Ron Finn still has it, touched in the hand. Fans want it in. It's in. Elliott gets set. And that's not in. Hextall stopped it. And he had to stop it a second time with Peter Zezel in very close.
Well, as I said earlier, the Leafs are a much better team on the draw. And Claude Loisel has played a lot on the wing. Now watch where Hextall is to make this save. He looks like he's getting ready to take the next draw. Hextall's a big goalie with big pads. And when he gets out and cuts that angle down, you can't see very much of the net.
This time, clean win by Philadelphia. Dineen skating out. Comes to center ice. Shoots it from there. And Fuhr watching it. Bounce high. Brind'Amour back of the net against Rouse. Zezel comes back to help. He has the puck and skates away with it. Peter Zezel up to center and going to the left side. Squeezing by. Samuelson caught up to him. Zezel has it again. Turning away from Dineen, and the pass will go all the way back to the Leaf blue line. Rouse took it on the skate. Had to move it away from Peterson in a hurry. Again Rouse, this time to Marois. To center, winds up. Hextall an easy save and leaves it for Cartner. The Leafs are changing as Murray comes out. Going the right side with it. Now Brind'Amour takes the return pass and going in. Murray tries to center. It's blocked in the corner, and Deblois for Toronto. Puck slapped to center ice and back in by Hoffman. 12 minutes left in the second period. 3-2 Toronto. Into the crowd it goes. A Saturday night souvenir. And a penalty again to Al Conroy. His second penalty of the hockey game. This time he's going for hooking.
Gives the Flyer player playing his first NHL game his second NHL penalty.
Leafs power play, 1 for 3 tonight. Gilmore to Anderson, sharp angle, rebound! Hextall scooping it up and holding on.
Well, Anderson tried to fool Hextall by trying to pick the short side when he was already at a bad angle. And Hextall stood his ground and wouldn't let Anderson get that goal. And the puck comes off Hextall's shoulder, and Mark Howe coming back into the play kicks it. right into Hextall's glove. But look at the size of that glove. You could kick a dozen pucks into it. There it is.
Freer trying to get loose. Leafs have the puck in the zone. Anderson to Ellett. Gilmore now. Back to Ellett. Shoots. Just missed. Rebound. Score! Leafs score on a power play again. 4-2 Toronto.
Well, Daniel Marois on a quick pass from Anderson, who took a shot that was wide of the net. It came off that orange part of the lower part of the boards. It's very lively on shots like this. A low, hard one by Ellett. And before Mark Howe could get to Anderson, he gets it over. And the Philadelphia defenseman in front of the net is slow getting to Duchesne, but he's too slow. You got to find that guy in front of the net before the point shot. It's too late after. And here's a good illustration of what I'm talking about.
8:43 was the time of the goal. And it's the 4th of the night for the Maple Leafs. So they lead 4-2. Marois from Anderson and Ellett. Another power play goal for the Leafs. Quinn moving up for Philadelphia. Side of the goal, and Rouse is playing the man all the way. Didn't even look down at the puck. Pinned him on the boards. Krushelnyski comes back there to help. The puck gets loose. Now close to being frozen again. Jackson allows them to play it, and they get it out. Anderson, however, didn't move it quickly. Gilmore looks for it. Anderson finds it, leaves it for Gilmore, and he turns with it. Back again. Philadelphia was changing. Anderson to Gilmore. Drilled it. It's stopped by Huffman. Flyers get out. Dineen comes down the right side, and now Brind'Amour through the middle with Dineen. Brind'Amour slapped it in front of the net, and Fjord decides he'd better jump on it, and he holds it. Marois' 10th of the season. From Anderson and Ellett makes it 4-2 Toronto.
Own Once Upon a Time in Mexico on DVD.
What's wrong?
Everything. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Buy it Tuesday on DVD.
Hi, it's me.
Sharing the good times with you. Your neighborhood Kelsey's.
We'll do whatever it takes to get you free this weekend. We're Discount, home of the 1-2 free weekend and free pickup.
Get free with discount.
Look at the head fakes by this Maple Leaf. Look at this. He's got more moves than Doug Gilmore. He's really enjoying himself tonight
He
here.
likes to dance on a Saturday. Let's listen. Watch it.
Well, there he is again. He's sitting down for a rest. He's been dancing for 2.5 minutes. And his buddy doesn't want to watch it anymore. Look at him.
Okay, 9:45 left in the second period. Philadelphia trying to get back in it once more. They were down 3, got to within 1, and now they're down 2. 4-2 Leafs.
Rod Brind'Amour's been one player in the Flyers the coaching staff is delighted with. As I mentioned, he leads the national tied for the lead in the National Hockey League in shorthanded goals with 4. He has 16 goals. He needs one more to equal his total last year in St. Louis. He was the Flyer representative in the All-Star game.
Puck is lifted down the ice, but too far for Bradley, who had moved up across center. Brind'Amour and Cartner. Puck dropped back. Up for Brind'Amour. He was offside. Across center, the pass from Samuelson well inside the Philadelphia line.
Well, Kevin Dineen is playing for his father as the coach. Now, that's happened before in the National Hockey League, but not often. I asked Bill Dineen, Coach Bill Dineen, what it was like to coach his son. He said, Harry, I'll tell you this. He's number 20 till the end of the season. Then he goes back to number 1, my son. And I'm sure Bill is stronger and tougher on his boy than he is on some of those guys whose name isn't Dineen. It puts a little heat on this guy, though, to make sure he's going every single night. Of course, Kevin Dineen did that long before he played for his father.
We've hit the 11-minute mark of the second period. Long shot in by Murray. Ricci in there. Back to the net. Ricci goes the other side. Now tries to come out front. It's all over Napras. Can't squeeze by on the boards, though. Cartner comes in to give a hand. Conroy made the pass, but LaRose picked it off, and he goes down. Played it back. It's dropped a second time. Cecil for LaRose. It got in front of the net, and the Flyers have to hurry it out. And it's all the way down the ice and back as Napras. And two players tangled to the left of Hextall. Can't get them apart.
Hextall and Cartner. Cartner had the leg grip on him and wouldn't let him up as the puck went to the other end. Now, I don't know whether the referee saw that or not, because he was heading back up the ice to make sure he was in on what was going on as the Flyers were taken into the Leaf zone. Cartner pulled an unusual hockey move, one that you see in wrestling every Saturday afternoon. Marois didn't enjoy it at all. Terry Cartner, the penalty minute leader. A lot of drop passes on this rush, probably one too many, and they finally get the puck into an area where you can't score from. And here the puck went up into the zone, and you can see to the right of your screen there just before we left the wrestling match between Marois and Cartner.
For Philadelphia, Terry Cartner roughing. For Toronto, Daniel Marois holding.
Well, you heard
11:37.
11:37. Cartner roughing, Marois holding.
Marois has been holding Cartner's legs with his teeth.
Pass ahead was a good one. Here's a break coming in. Score! A breakaway pass for Dave Brown. And boy, you don't see Brown getting behind everybody that often, but he made no mistake that time. Skating in on Fuhr and getting to within one of Toronto again.
Well, Toronto Maple Leafs are one of Brown's favorite teams to play against. First, most of the guys don't want anything to do with him physically. And second, this is his 5th goal in his 17th game against the Leafs. And Bob, he looks like he knows what he's doing on that one. Brown and Fuhr played together in Edmonton, and I wonder if Brown remembered in all those shooting drills what worked once in a while. I'm sure Grant Fuhr hasn't got much of an offensive book on Brown.
Brown from Boivin, who made that dandy lead pass. 11:45 the time. So it's now a 4-3 hockey game. Philadelphia climbing back again within striking distance of the Maple Leafs. Brind'Amour hit by Anderson. Krushelnyski got up as far as the line, was hauled down, and Howe just whipped it quickly. The Leafs were changing as the Flyers moved it down, and Brind'Amour can't catch up to it. Took a swing at LaRose. That went unnoticed. Gilmore picking his way in with LaRose. He stopped. An errant pass up along the boards. Flyers with a chance to move it out. Galley hit Peterson's skate. Brown on the ice again, backhands it into the corner, and Halkinas gives it to Deblois. Deblois moving away from Brown and got it in on the left side. Rose knocked down. Jackson, the referee, says no. The play goes right on. Crowd didn't think so, as you can tell. Flyers are moving in. And a penalty in behind the play, I'll bet. Yes, indeed. Way behind the play. A penalized player going off will be Galley.
Penalty by Guy LaRose, who took out Brown and then fought off Galley that shift.
So Galley for slashing, 13-16. The Leafs 500 in the power play tonight. 2 goals in this their 4th attempt. Maybe they can improve on it. Flipped in and DeFiore scooped it aside. Coming out. Bradley to center. Brought back Zezel. Fired it wide. Knocked in back of the goal again. Samuelson looking for the opening. He finds it. So the Leafs, with their 5th manpower advantage in the hockey game and leading 4-3, would like one here. Bradley is in there. Backhands it. Hextall knocked it away. It's to the line and not out. And McCown scooped it in again. Here's the pass all the way back to Ellett. He had to turn to pick it up, so no shot. Ricci covered him. Anderson is there trying to move it. Krushelnyski and Anderson. Coming from the corner. Gilmore to Anderson. Gilmore in front. The pass by everybody. Ellett had left the point and charged in. 35 seconds left in the penalty. McCown knocked down. Back up to bring it in. Now it's cleared. Ricci moving up. He has Huffman catching up. Ricci, Huffman, Fuhr! Great save! Grant Fuhr stopping Huffman on the 2-on-1 by Philadelphia.
Well, I mentioned that the Flyers are the most dangerous team in the shorthanded situation. They've already scored 11 shorthanded goals. And Gilmore, a forward, the only guy back on this 2-on-1 rush, and Grant Fuhr makes a spectacular stop. Gilmore can't stop the pass across. Huffman thought he had the goal. And I've said it 100 times before, and I'll say it again. It's tough to get the big goal once the hockey game started on Grant Fuhr. The goal that might sink you. And that could have been it. But Fuhr wouldn't give it to you.
It is 4-3. Toronto leading. Only 17 seconds left in the Philadelphia penalty. They're still inside the line now. It's hooked out by Dineen. Parkner backs up, looks at the clock, shoots it down the ice, and only 5 seconds left in the penalty. Galley ready to come back on. So the Leafs come up empty on this manpower advantage. Galley going for his shift right away. He's out of the penalty box. And it's Anderson dropping it. Gilmore coming in. Scores! Gilmore, beautiful goal. Will Anderson. The Leafs are up 2 again.
While these two guys, Gilmore and Anderson, played against each other for a good number of years in Calgary. But I don't think either one of them have played any better with anyone else than they're now playing with each other. Anderson starts outside. The defenseman, Karkner, drops it to Gilmore. Gilmore walks in between Quinn, Boyvan, who makes a terrible attempt at a check and sticks it in on the short side, beating Hextall. Boyvan's got to come back and play the man. Hextall started the lean to his right, and that was just enough space for this young man to put it in.
Gilmore from Anderson and Gill is the scoring play. The time is 15:26. That makes it Toronto 5. Philadelphia 3. With 4:15 left in the second period. Beautiful goal by Anderson and Gilmore. Puck down the ice. And icing called against Toronto. 4:01, the exact, left in the second period. The shot off the leg and wide of the net. Back of the goal. Zessel gets the puck loose. It's cleared. Not out. Now it will be. As McCown lugs it up. Goes in and winds up for the shot and does not get it. But Zessel might. Hextall a save on Zessel's shot. Leafs continue to press. The Rose came close for that backhander along the ice. Good save by Hextall. Mike Myers, Saturday Night Live, will also be along to chat with Ron. In our second intermission, we're 3:20 away from that now. Playing time in the second period. And the Flyers trying to get one back. Pass to Conroy, didn't work. Slapped it into the corner. Leafs recovering a bit now in front of the net. Bjork goes down and covers on the short side, and Ricci's attempt for the wraparound. Huffman fires it back in. 2:50 left of the period. Conroy skating up very quickly to pick it up, and now Galley carries in. Flyers on it, back of the goal. It's centered through a crowd. Pushinsky will poke it out. It went high, though, over the glass. The far side. Near.
A lot of youngsters at the game tonight. Here is one of the better-looking lines I've seen.
Pushinsky standing up there to get the puck loose for Gilmore, and he hooked it out. It hit the linesman Ron Finn, preventing the Leafs from moving on it and down the ice. Flyers come back in. Brind'Amour is stopped by Gilmore. Pushinsky again against Dineen. Anderson getting loose. Coming down the right side and trying to cut in. He beat Huffman. Still skating hard, eluding another hit. And Huffman takes the pass in front of the goal and cleared it out. Shot in by Dineen. Bounced on the glass. A funny hop and bounced back in front of the net. No Flyer was up though. Duchesne's shot on a stick. Flyers on it. Another shot deflected wide off the stick of Brind'Amour, and the play is stopped.
Late goal this period, like they did in the first, to put them back in the game.
They got a late goal on a power play at first period at 19:12 when Dineen scored from Brind'Amour at Howe. So this will be a big chance as Loisel sits it out, and with 1:51 left, the Leafs leading 5-3. The Flyers get another chance to make it close. Ricci can't win the draw from Zessel. Howe blocked it nicely at the line. Duchesne threw it into the corner around the net. Leafs get it out. A little bit of a race for it. But Duchesne got back and nearly lost it in front of Hextall. Puck loose right in front of the net. And he nearly lost it. Howe now moving up. Offside. Freer in quickly on the right wing.
Well, Deblois on a foot race with Duchesne in that short-handed situation. And Steve Duchesne nearly dekes Hextall and then leaves the drop pass for Deblois. And I'm sure Hextall wondered what in the world Duchesne was thinking. All he had to do was dump it off into the corner or swerve off into the corner himself. One more move and Duchesne would have beaten his own goalie, as Deblois nearly does there. Duchesne, who leads the Flyer defenseman in points and led the LA King defenseman in points for 3 years, scored 20 goals in each of his last 3 years in the National Hockey League.
A minute and 20 seconds left in the second period. 5-3 Toronto. The Flyers on a power play. Quinn with Freer. Moving up with Ricci. Cowan back. Rifle one on the glass. Nearly took the head off Anderson as he let that one fly.
Last minute of play
pressing in the final minute. It is centered. Howe was there, but it was intercepted by Anderson, and he's away. Gilmore is catching up. Anderson can't jam it by Hextall. He was looking for Gilmore all the way down the right wing. Howe drops it for Duchesne with 40 seconds to play in the period. Brind'Amour keeping it in. Flyers dearly want a goal late here, and they're going after it. Ellett trying to clear it out. No, it's kept in. Around the net, Brind'Amour in the corner. 35 seconds left in the period. Ellett cannot get it out. It gets to the line. Duchesne hooked it in there. This time Ellett will clear it. And it's down to the Philadelphia line with 13 seconds remaining. Dineen might get a shot away. He's up near the line. It is intercepted for Cecil, and he'll just roll it ahead. Hextall played it off the boards, and the horn goes to end the second period. Two-period shot total now. It's even at 19 apiece.
For Neely, he's been covered. Neely breaks now over the line. Going deep on Housley. In for a backhand. Cam Neely, his first of the year.
Boston's Cam Neely is back from a serious leg injury suffered in last year's playoffs. Since he returned, he's been on a goal-a-game pace. Over the summer, there was some concern that Neely's injury might have been career-ending. Fans mistakenly believe the injury occurred in Game 3 of the conference finals between Boston and Pittsburgh, when Neely took a questionable check on the right leg from Ulf Samuelsson. Actually, it was a collision in Game 6, this time on the left leg, that did the real damage.
The hit in Game 3 is something that I have really no respect for, that particular type of hit and the way, he placed it. But it happened in Game 6. I actually went to hit him this time in the corner. He ducked, and as you duck, you bend your knees, and my thigh, I skated right into his knee.
After the playoffs, when the leg was not responding, Neely returned to Boston, where doctors found an uncommon growth had developed in the injured left leg.
Yeah, it's actually called myositis ossificans. It's something that is more common in women gymnasts that do the uneven bars that always slam their thighs up against that bottom bar. So it's not really that common in hockey players. It was such a hard hit that the body had actually initially thought I had broken the bone. And when you do that, your body produces more bone cells. So I had to actually fool the body into thinking I was treating the broken bone. So they put me in a leg brace for 2 months. When I got out of the brace, I could only bend my leg probably 75 degrees. And I think 145 degrees is full range. So gradually, without really doing anything, just walking around, I slowly got the range back. And it was, somewhat frightening to think that I could only bend my leg, 75 degrees. It was up until October. I wasn't sure how my leg was going to react when I started working out with it. So it was really playing on my mind, because if I was to have surgery, it would have been definitely a season-ending injury, and depending on how much muscle they would have to take out, it could have been career-ending.
Neely doesn't put the full blame on Samuelsson for his injury, but he has little regard for the Pittsburgh player's checking style.
Anytime, you hit where you could injure a fella's knee or something like that, I think, as a player, you have to respect someone else's career. It's a physical game. Sometimes situations are going to arise, and I'm sure I haven't, policed some people with some hits I've placed, but it's nothing intentional, and most players aren't intentional. I'm not saying that was intentional. I don't know. I like to think of something good that comes out of something bad. And although I was basically laid up for 7 months, I like to think that it made me realize that one day this game is going to end for me.
Oh, 1 for 1! That is going wild! Car! Game on! Game on! Okay, let's go. Worsley cuts down the angle. Gretzky shoots! Oh, Gretzky is denied. Choked in the open net. Uh-oh. Incoming. Stacy, 10 o'clock.
Hi, Wayne. Hi.
You wrote that part.
Oh, I wrote that. Why'd you say so much?
How was that poor stunt lady?
Well, she got up and she did it again.
Wears the same outfits as Don, which really drives me. That's from Wayne's World, Paramount Pictures, February the 14th. Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, Torontonian and star of Saturday Night Live. And Mike, I must say I enjoy your work. I love Dana's too on Saturday Night Live. My wife loves Church Lady. Tell me about this movie. How did this all come about?
Well, I, of course, did this character on Saturday Night Live, and then Paramount said, do you want to do a movie? And I said, okay. And
Excellent.
Excellent, I said. And so we did the Wayne's World movie. I'm really nervous. I'm on Hockey Night in Canada.
Danny Gallivan, do Danny.
Danny Gallivan! A cannonading shot.
Now, you watched it. You say your dad's from overseas?
My dad's from Liverpool, yeah.
And you somehow have been trying to sell him on the idea of Don Cherry for how long now?
Oh, for a while. My dad doesn't like didn't like the fights, and so it's like, you know, Don Cherry, of course, loves the fights.
What's the plot in this extended version of Wayne's World, the popular skit on Saturday Night Live?
Well, and that was a very factual statement. It's a guy meets chick, guy gets chick, guy loses chick, guy goes mental, and guy gets chick back. That's the plot, basically.
Well, you wrote a good plot.
Yeah,
apparently something's happening out at ice level, Mike. I want to wish you the best with that. What's happening here?
Game on! Car! Game on!
Bob, up to you.
Okay, Mike. You say it, I'll go. So will Howe and the Flyers as they move up looking for a goal early in this third period. Down by 2. 5-3 is the score. The Maple Leafs are leading the Philadelphia Flyers. Brind'Amour shoveled one in. Duchesne has to start it all over again with Mark Howe. He stepped up there. The pass for Dineen was too far. And the Leafs clear it back into the Philadelphia zone. Duchesne starts to play. Brind'Amour carries on, trying to find room along the boards, and Dineen nearly got in front. Krushelnyski will bring it out for the Maple Leafs with Anderson. He's been going hard tonight. Anderson maintains that clip, gets into the corner to center it. Brind'Amour was standing at the lip of the crease and cleared it back out. Conroy moving up, and if you're out of the net, to stop it with a stick. Ellen, his pass stopped. Flyers continue the forechecking of the Maple Leafs in the early going of each period. This the third on the boards. Leafs will bring it out now. Pass comes to the left side, and Dave Ellen is moving up. Weak wrist shot, missed the goal by a couple of feet. Leafs were changing, and the puck hit a Flyer player at the bench at the far side, and that stops the play. Philadelphia getting a goal early in the second period. Quinn, his seventh, and Marois at 8:43 on a power play, and Brown on a breakaway pass went in to beat Fjord at 11:45. And the shots in the period were by the Flyers 12 and the Leafs 11.
Here's Mr. Rhythm. He's taking a bit of a breather now. I don't know if there's watching this game or not, but he's getting his hockey stick taped now, so he may be going in the third period.
Long shot, missed the net. Netflix let it fly from inside the blue line. Now he has to come back. Netflix's pass to Marois. That's given up. Conroy was stopped. Stays with it though. Moving into the corner now in front is Conroy as Ricci takes it. Trying to get it to him at the side of the net, but Marois moved it out to Todd Gill. Gill up across the line, backhands it into the corner. Hextall looking around. He sees LaRose coming in and cleared it himself all the way back into the lead zone. Flyers changing on the goal. 5-3 the score, the Maple Leafs. Pass outside the line. Howe has to wait. Bradley gets some time to move around in front of the net. Pass on the right wing for Deblois. Failed to click, and Duchesne takes it. Ahead to Brown. He just got rid of it. And again, down the ice. Boivin on now, and he takes the pass. Played it up to Brown. To center ice and in. Brown going for the net as Freer tried to bring it into the corner. Does. Had it knocked away in time. Brown can't get it loose. Boivin shot one over in front of the goal, and the Leafs get it out. Bullard, one man to beat. If he moves in, he does. This shot blocked by Hextall. Again, Boivin across center, just shoots it in. As The Flyers want to make changes again. Tip near center ice by Rouse, all the way down the ice. Back is Kartner icing against.
Just 'cause I...
McCown tries to get in on the rush. Krushelnyski lost it near Philadelphia line. McCown slapped it in. Partner for Philadelphia. And McCown will stop that pass. Ahead it goes. Leafs dump it in. Gilmour giving chase. Partner takes it around the net, but Gilmour is there. He's always dangerous for checking. Gilmour and Partner on the boards. Fight for it. Gilmour won it. Slipped it over in front. Anderson nearly got loose. Krushelnyski bumped by Partner. Flyers get out. Dineen skating to center ice. Looking for a little bit of room, and McCown has to drop it back. There's McCown. Didn't see Galley parked at the blue line. Once again, Natras and Gilmour. Anderson flying in there. Anderson trying to get it back to Gilmour, but Galley made a fine play. And he's moving up now. Galley moved away from Krushelnyski a second time to the other side where he had to shoot it quickly. In around the net it goes. Coming up to the 5-minute mark of the third period. The Leafs are leading Philadelphia by 2 goals, 5-3.
Gary Galley, who I mentioned came over from the Bruins 5 games ago for Philadelphia, has 5 points. He's a -2. He's second in team in penalty minutes, which kind of tells you how many of those kind of players no longer play for the Flyers. 19 points Gary has, and against the Leafs in 20 games, he has 12. That trade surprised me. I thought the Flyers were high on young Gord Murphy, as I thought the Bruins were on Gary Galley.
Ricci slapped one from center. This has been one of the easier nights for Grant Fuhr. Galley testing Fuhr. And he caught it, dropped it, and smothered it. Olympic Games coming up from Albertville, France.
Here's a good stop by Hextall on the only Leaf opportunity of this third period. Philadelphia's had a half a dozen of them, and the Leafs are on their heels trying to protect this lead. And the clock is the biggest enemy that the Flyers have at the moment. You can see Dineen, number 20, he's had 7 shots on goal and has been the player for the Flyers that goes to the front of the net. Takes a lot of abuse to get those chances. See, he's got a bad right wrist. He's just rearranging the tape on it so he can hold his stick a little bit more comfortably.
That's Anderson. Boy, has he been skating and working hard tonight.
All those little moves, Bob, that Anderson's made in the last 6 or 8 or 10 games are possible because he's scaring the life out of the defenseman with his speed.
It's a chance to show it again. But he's alone on this play and trying to rag it a bit and then lost it. Ricci took it back. Offside at the Toronto blue line. Ron McLean leaving on Monday for Albertville, France for the Olympic coverage on CBC.
Well, Tom Watt is 12 minutes and 14 seconds away from seeing his Maple Leafs win 2 in a row. Played a good game Wednesday night against Boston, too, and couldn't score, or they might have won that one. And the big boss that heads off to Sweden tomorrow, Cliff Fletcher, in hopes of signing a Russian defenseman and having him here after the Olympic Games. And that's one area that Toronto has not exploited as a team in the last 10 years as other teams have. European players, and they've helped a lot of teams in this league.
He told me today he is going to be gone for a week or maybe a little more, and he's going to look at quite a few players. Hopefully. Here, his Leafs are up on Philadelphia, 5-3. Brown's weak shot is stopped by Fuhr. Another shot is deflected off the net. 11:45 remaining in the third. Philadelphia The pass through the crease. Marois there just gets rid of it, poke it out. LeBeau's knocked down. Flyers come back. Brown across center and leaves it for Quinn. He dropped it. Galley up with a shot high off the shoulder of Fuhr. The Flyers are on the rebound. But here's Marois. Can he go against Howe? No. Howe made the right move, as he usually does.
Yes, he usually does. You're right there. Mark Howe at 35, still one of the best defensemen in the league when you can get him healthy enough to play.
Got a bad back. Can't go full out, although he tries, I'm sure. He's in front now. Duchesne is up there also. Now Howe fades back outside the line, and he'll go back to pick it up. His dad, Gordy, here watching son Mark play tonight. Shot from McCown. Off the boards into the far corner. Anderson was up there for Toronto. He'll take it, and Gilmore is with him. So he'll get the pass to the line. That was shot, deflected. Somehow Hextall took that deflection. That was a pretty good stop by Ron Hextall.
What were we thinking about when we gave the Kia Sedona a more powerful standard engine? What were we thinking about when we gave it the best warranty in the business and packed it full of features? What were we thinking about when we designed it to receive a quadruple 5-star safety rating?
On the full network tonight from coast to coast in Canada, I'm Bob Cole with Harry Neal here in the booth, Ron McLean and Don Cherry along with us, and the Maple Leafs and the Philadelphia Flyers putting on a pretty good effort tonight. It's 5-3 at this moment for Toronto Maple Leafs. Philadelphia, though, showing signs of striking back here in the third period. They've had some pretty good chances so far. We're nearing the halfway mark. There's a nice save by Grant Fuhr on a quick shot. Conroy was alone and ripped it low. Fuhr can be great. There is no question about that. Lightning reflexes to make that save. Trouble with Grant Fuhr for fans, he makes them look easy. That was a toughie. Now the Leafs pounded back in. Boiselle has to hustle to get back on side. As the Flyers, led by Samuelson, come out. Tipped by Freer. Hoffman got it ahead. The Leafs again in control. And it's flipped off the boards and down the ice. Hoffman back. The Leafs are up by 2 and showing signs now of trying to protect that 2-goal lead. Sometimes that can be murdered.
Well, if you sit back too far on your heels, it sure can. And we know another thing, Bob. The Leafs haven't had much practice at doing that this year, protecting the lead.
Here's Marois with Gill, the defenseman, and Zessel. Gill is around the net, left it for Marois, tried to stuff it in. Again, he centered it. Flyers come out, 3 of them this time. Brown passes back to Quinn. Quinn in there. Brown, great save by Fuhr. That's his best tonight. Looked like a sure goal. Duchesne dropping it. The backhander in wide. Fuhr hot again in the late stages of this hockey game. What a big step that was. Anderson shot it from center ice. And Duchesne will pick it up to Dineen. No place to go. It's hammered back in by Toronto. And Duchesne will start it once more. 8:15 remaining. McCown again. Fired one in on Hextall. Penalty coming up against the Maple Leafs. This is a big time now for Philadelphia. They're trailing Toronto by 2 goals. And a power play coming up.
On Once Upon a Time in Mexico on DVD. He's a renegade agent playing both sides of the law. Johnny Depp knocks it out of the park.
You dig it? I can dig it.
On a DVD with extras.
Are you still standing?
Still. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Buy it Tuesday on DVD.
Go!
probably harder to get Hull's 50th than win the game. That sometimes can cost you the game.
It's a power play now for Philadelphia. Anderson has the tripping penalty. At 11:53, nice effort by Natras to clear it. It's Toronto 5, Philadelphia 3. The Flyers with a man advantage. Organize it as far as center, and it becomes disorganized right there with Gilmore. Easily intercepting the pass and clearing it. Now, this time, down the left side. Brind'Amour racing for the net. Centered it. Nobody can get a shot. Two Leafs are on the play. Loiselle and DeBlois, the penalty killers. DeBlois and Loiselle. Loiselle had a stick lifted, and the Flyers turn it back. Peterson started the play, and Dineen will move it in. Dropped it back to Peterson. He gets set. He's on an angle, though. So the pass. Duchesne. No shot. There's a drive that hit a leg. Galley electing to shoot it on another rather difficult angle. At the blue line, Duchesne. And again, Galley. This time he's fired it in the crease area. High, though. And Fjord got his glove on it. And look out. 43 seconds left in the penalty to Anderson of the Maple Leafs.
Well, here's the action around the Leaf net. Fuhr bobbled the shot and then caught it. And you can see that the scrum continued for 5 or 10 seconds. Galley.
And out of that, pair of minors, Brind'Amour and Loiselle for roughing.
43 seconds left in the power play for the Philadelphia Flyers. That's the penalty to Glenn Anderson.
Quinn against Cecil. They can't get it out. Quinn didn't see it in time. Leafs do not see it in time. Hard shot given by McCowan. Here's a chance. Huffman's shot stopped by Fjord. And the Leafs get it as far as the line, and now finally out. 23 seconds left on the power play. Flyers. Here's Quinn. Looked as if he might shoot it. Now he backs off. Huffman fed it in there. Quinn has to turn back and lost it. He lost control of it, turning back with Duchesne waiting. Murray to Huffman. The pass on his skate. Penalty is over. Anderson is on the ice again. So the teams are at full strength with 6 minutes remaining third period. 5-3 Toronto. Here's Ricci. He's been dangerous. Centered it. No shot though. Jones tried to center it again. Here's Quinn. Ricci was in front and open for a moment. Now Quinn dropped it back of the goal. In front, score! Ricci gets the goal, and Philadelphia scoring even strength. After the Leafs kill the penalty, Ricci gets their 4th of the night, and they are within 1 of Toronto.
Well, the defensive zone coverage for the Leafs finally broke down. You can see Natras. He's right here on Quinn. He should stay with him. Or Natras, sorry. That was McCowan. Natras stays in front of the net, but doesn't look behind him as Ricci steps in and puts it in. Now, Gilmore should stay right there with the Philly player. Natras made the mistake, looking the wrong way and not checking over his shoulder. Ricci steps in and puts it in.
The Leafs come in now, and this shot deflected and just missed. Hextall hangs on. Ricci's 12th of the season from Jones and Quinn, the scoring play at 14:23.
It's back. The Extreme Value Meal.
Yeah!
Any size pizza.
Yes!
Any 3 toppings.
Yes!
Dipping sauce.
Oh, yeah!
All for a little over 5 minutes left in the third period. Philadelphia striking for a goal here and are within 1 of the Maple Leafs now. And the Leafs just continue to clear down the ice. Now 5 minutes remaining.
Goal lead. And now they have 4 minutes and 59 seconds left in regulation time to protect a 1-goal lead.
Cecil along the boards with it. Anderson was there to drop it back, and now the Leafs will move out. This is Natras, the defenseman. He lost it. McCown up across center with a pass. Play goes on, and it goes deep in the Philadelphia zone. Shane. The other way. Natras gets a shot. Hit a leg in front. Leafs are on the puck quickly. It is centered. Krushelnyski put it back at the net. Anderson on it, centered it. Natras keeps it in, shovel it off to the corner. Ricci is back there. Dineen trying to tie up McCown. He does. And the puck rolls down inside the Maple Leaf line. 5-4 now. Toronto leading. 4:08 remaining. Third period. Duchesne moving up to the line with a good play. Quinn centered it. Right in close to Dineen, and somehow Brad Fuhr keeps doing it. That one was better than the last sensational save with a quick glove hand.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Kevin Dineen loves to go to the net and look for some garbage to put in for the goal. He does just that on this play, and look at the save Fuhr makes. Dineen didn't get as much wood on that shot as he wanted, but Fuhr had no time at all to make much of a decision. This was a reaction stop by a goalie who may have the best reactions in this league. Grant Fuhr again doing a masterful job. That's shot number 32 for the Flyers. The Leafs have had 24, and it was 19-19 after the second period. Kevin Dineen, the most dangerous Flyer at the moment.
And 3:59 left to play in the third period. Dineen looking back, shaking his head. Look at the look at Fuhr. How did you do it? He has done it again. He's made 2 or 3 in this third period of the sensational variety. That one a beauty. Now Galley. Shot into a crowd. Didn't get to the net. Philadelphia, though, coming on. They're within 1 goal of the Maple Leafs, and Cecil knows it, and he'll try to move it out. And he will. Gets it up for Loisel and skates there with him. Loisel shot it in, and the Leafs are making changes with Hextall coming out to play it back the other way for Brind'Amour. Slapped back in by Rouse. 3:20 remaining, third period. Jones for Brind'Amour. To the line, he dropped it. Hopped over the stick of Jones. And Ellett of Toronto gets it up to center ice. Here's Brind'Amour for Galley. Galley turning back, takes a look, gave it away, and a shot by Krushelnyski. Looked harmless enough, off the stick and in wide. Gilmore on it. He saw Anderson cruising in. Ricci got a piece of Anderson, put him off stride. Partner out with 2:45 to play in the third. Lead. Conroy moving up. Fuhr just reaching ahead of him and knocked it away from the net. Once again, Al Conroy centering it. Partner moving in well. Gets it back. Samuelsson shot right in front. Off the crossbar. That backhander. And up high over the glass. And the Flyers fighting back. Nearly tied right there.
The puck comes out here to Carter. He backhands it. And you can see it has Fuhr beat, but it's on the wrong side of the crossbar.
2 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the third period. Philadelphia and Toronto. Flyers 6 in the Patrick. 16 points out of the playoffs. Boy, would they like a win tonight. First, they have to get a tie, and they're working on that right now with 2:15 remaining. Third period. Rouse going behind his own net. Samuelsson will stop it. Kept it in there. And again, Loisel. And he cleared it by Samuelsson. Look at Hextall. He's 30 feet out. Played the corner smartly. Front of the net, nearly a giveaway for Loisel. Samuelsson weaving his way along the boards for Dineen. Partner finds a bit of skating room and shoots it in and goes off. 1:40 remaining. Puck out over the line, yes. Offside, it was close, but definitely out over the line. The Flyers were offside. Lead. They add second period. Gilmore at 15:26. And they have a one-goal lead now with a minute and a half left.
Three of the players that the Leafs acquired from Calgary are out here at the most critical time of the game. The two defensemen, McCowan and Natras, and of course Gilmore.
And here's Anderson, who tried the shot on the short side, and Hextall was almost fooled with it. He was hugging the post, but had to look around for it. He had it, though.
The Flyers are screaming about no penalty call by this young referee, Jackson, doing his first game of this season, and he's now telling Duchesne to be quiet. Here's what they're squawking about here. I think they got a legitimate complaint, don't they, Krushelnyski? Once you take one hand off the stick and the guy beats you, it's nearly impossible for you to stop from reaching out and grabbing the guy. Jackson, very generous on not making that call against Mike Krushelnyski.
1:21 left, third period. Face-off deep in the Philadelphia zone. We'll keep an eye on Hextall for you, I'm sure. He will be galloping if the Flyers get the puck inside the line and get control. It's in there now. Hextall is 15 feet out. He remains there watching. And good thing, because the Leafs, Gilmore dumped one up the center ice. Two Leafs nearly collide. The puck goes in over the line. McCown back here in the final minute. Hextall edging out. He's 20 feet out now. Now he gets the word and takes off to the face off to the right of Fuhrer. 54 seconds. Leafs leading by 1 goal. Dineen reaching for it. He hauled Elliott down. Elliott falling on the puck, getting another face-off to the right of Grant Fuhrer with 45 seconds left in the third. Peterson just outside the circle. Dineen has been strong for Philadelphia tonight, and he drives into the corner again against McCown. McCown took a poke at Dineen, but Dineen got the puck loose. It's back to the line. Duchesne shot. Low shot just missed. Philadelphia on the puck with 30 seconds remaining. In back of the net, scrambling around for the puck is Zezel, trying to kick it loose. He falls on it, trying to hold it. He is successful in holding it, stopping the flying Flyers, and they're really in there fast with 23.6 seconds remaining in the third period. The Leafs hanging on to that 1-goal lead.
Well, you know, the Flyers should have one more man than the Leafs anywhere the puck is, whether it's behind the net, in front of the net, or where it is. There are 2 Flyers and 2 Leafs, and the third Flyer gets in there, and then, of course, Gilmore goes in and gives number 18, Mike Ricci, a wrap.
Dineen, Peterson, Huffman are the 3 Flyers to the right of Brind'Amour. Ricci is just on the left side. Asseltine is the linesman. He doesn't drop it in fairly, and he'll do it again. The referee had called the play that time, and Ron Finn stepped in to say something to Ricci.
Zezel lost that drop, but he'd won the 2 before. He's trying to forehand it back into the corner.
It comes loose for Philadelphia. Centered, Huffman shot. Great save by Fuhrer again. And the Leafs are going to clear it, I think. They get it to the line. And finally out, empty net for Zezel. He scores. Zezel's goal into the empty net will cap it for the Maple Leafs tonight. 7 seconds remaining.
Well, you can thank Grant Fuhrer for making one more key save. Watch the
1952. It makes it 6-4. Zezel's empty net goal from Deblois at 1952. And the horn goes to end a fine hockey game tonight, won by the Maple Leafs 6-4.
Well, the Leafs really won this game, Bob, by scoring on their first 3 shots on goal to make it 3-0 at the 9:11 mark of the first period. After that, the Flyers may well have been just as good or better than the Leafs, but you can't spot a team 3 and get away with it very often in this league.